Hey everyone, and thank you for joining me again today. I know in my last video I said that I was going to begin this video about my journey of grief after I had lost Caleb, but I think that I would like to share with you all a little more about Caleb's life while he was here on earth. Um, I First and foremost, I am not sure why that God chose me to be the mother of such a beautiful, precious little boy. But I thank Him continuously that He did choose me to be Caleb's mama. And as I said before, Caleb was not here very long, um, almost 4 years, just a month shy of his fourth birthday. But in that time, Caleb left me, uh, my family, everyone that knew him, some very, very precious memories. He was born at 12:33 a.m. on April the 26th of 2004. And he was just such a good child. He was just so loving and precious, and um, he was not, as he started getting older, he was not like a shy child, and I have no idea where he get that from, but he was extremely loving and caring, and willing always to give those sweet hugs and kisses to anyone. And, I remember certain things about him as he was growing up, and um, how he would like be in his little Johnny jumper that we had placed at the top of the door, and he loved that. And there were certain things that he loved, and there are certain characteristics about him um, that just make him so memorable and so precious. Like, for example, and I've told this story to several people, but he had a lot of the Fisher Price little people. And I guess maybe because of his autism, he wanted all of those little people to be on a pencil or a stick of some sort. And he would be trying to put it together. And if he couldn't get it together, he would get so frustrated. And we would have to go find like the roll of tape and find a way to make it stick on there just to, calm him down because he wanted to be able to carry it. Um, and I remember that at one point we had a cat in our house. And he would just, he was so excited about this little cat. And the poor little cat, because when Caleb would bring us the cat, he was like literally carrying it by its neck. So, but he would be so excited about it that he brought it to us and everything. And he loved just certain things. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He watched Disney Junior a lot, and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. That was just his thing. And I think Handy Manny came on after that, and he would know how all the little tunes went at the beginning of the shows and everything, and he would kind of like, sing along to him or what have you. And he loved helicopters, and maybe because of the blades right there at the top of it, he called it the helicopter. That was what he called it, and he loved those. So pretty often when we would go to the store, that would be what he wanted. Now, again, he did have delayed speech, so a lot of times he might point at, whatever he wanted. And cars, he loved cars and trains. And he had a book that we would read, and I think it was Little Engine That Could, actually, it was the book. And every time he would see that little train, he would say, "That's a train, that's a train." And I think from one of the Disney Mickey Mouse episodes, um, they were teaching the kids about animals, and one of the characters would always say, "That's a cow," because it was a cow episode they were doing. And every time Caleb would see, I don't care what kind of animal it was, he would say, "That's a cow." So, um, and he he loved like tub time, loved to be in the tub. And I got him like the crayons you could draw on the wall, and he loved to do that. He loved to draw on his Magnadoodle, and it's so precious to me because he pretty much always drew smiley faces. And I love the fact that maybe he couldn't tell me that he was happy, but maybe he was drawing it out for me that he was happy. Um, but now Caleb would have his episodes of getting upset. And if there was something we couldn't do for him, or couldn't make something fit or go together, or if it was broken, um, his little legs would just get so stiff because he was just so upset about it. I mean, it was just, bless his heart, because he was getting angry, but he couldn't understand, we can't fix it. And he would eventually, kind of get over it and start playing with something else or what have you. But, and, he liked to have things, like trucks or his little wagon and so forth. He wanted it on a string to pull it. He wanted to be able to pull things. And he was just such a beautiful, beautiful soul. And I love the fact that even though he did not talk a lot, the way he would express himself to people, and I can assure you, any person that knew Caleb, they loved him. I can assure you that he touched their lives in one way or another. Just, I think, with his caring and loving personality, and even though he would have these moments of frustration, and he didn't want to do this, or get upset about that or whatever, but he was just so friendly with everyone. And I remember once we were in the dentist's office, And there was a gentleman sitting there. He's just, sitting there filling out his paperwork or whatever. And little Caleb, he just walks over to him and just starts just like petting his leg, and he's saying, "Oh," just like he's loving on him. He's just, he's loving on him. He's saying, "Oh," and it is just so precious. And um, he, when we would tell him to ask someone, we would say, ask Papa what he's doing. And all he would say is, "What do?" That was the way he said, "What are you doing? What do?" So, um, that just kind of became our little phrase when we would, all of us adults even would talk to each other, would be like, "What do?" Because that's what Caleb would say. And he would, also, he had learned to say, "It's okay." And what was so precious to me about the fact that he had learned to say that was, if he was upset and he's crying, and and I'm loving on him, but Caleb is the one saying to me, "It's okay." And he is just, even though he's gone from here, from this earth, and he's in heaven now, and I'm sure he's talking up a storm up there. Um, but he touched lives in ways that I never even knew about for a long time after that he had died. And I just think, Lord, I don't understand why you would choose me, because anyone that knows me knows that I'm not a person that thinks, very highly of myself or what have you. But I just think, I'm not sure why you would choose me to be the mother of such a special, precious gift of a little boy. And, you know, and my family just absolutely adored him, and they loved him, and they still do. They still carry his memory also, and spoiled him and then send him back home to me. um, but it, it's just hard for me to fathom um, all the things that Caleb, my son, the little boy that God gave me, how he touched so many lives in such a short span of time. That's not something that is comprehensible to my human brain. Um, he had some very, very special bonds um, with my family. Um, and I know that they all love him and think about him. And I have a sister that has 3 boys. And her oldest boy at that time, I remember one year we went trick-or-treating, and her oldest boy, She just had the two at the time, but her oldest one was carrying him while we were trick or treating, and I guess Caleb had the Peepop the sucker. His all time favorite candy was a Peepop a sucker. Um, and he was eating it, and he gets it stuck in my nephew's hair. But it's just so precious. Those memories are just so precious to me. And he, my, her middle son, I, I am not sure because I am not all knowing like God is. But I believe that through Caleb's life and through his death, that that is how the Lord spoke to him to bring him to salvation. And my boy was 3. I, and that doesn't, um, that's very incomprehensible to my human mind. But I know that they had a very special bond because they were just a few years apart in age. They went to the same theater, anywhere you saw Caleb, Noah was right beside him, in pictures. I mean, it's crazy. And then also, my sister's youngest son never got to meet Caleb because Caleb had already passed after he was born. But I will never forget the day that he called me after he got saved. And he said to me, I'm going where your boy is. And yes, tears just flooded my eyes to know that these boys that did or did not get to spend time with little Caleb, that special little boy, that he's impacted them. And I have had so many people say to me that about my story that I share and all my wonderful memories that I can share. And even talking about, the tragedy that happened, that tell me, that it's inspiring. And if I inspire someone with my story, I give glory to God for any of that. Um, but I do believe that Caleb was sent here for a purpose, for the time that he was supposed to be here. And I'm so proud that and honored and humbled that I was chose to be his mom to such a precious little boy. He had to go to occupational and speech therapy. Everyone there loved him. He went to, he had a babysitter that he would go to. Um, and of course, little Noah was there also because, like I said, they're around the same age. And, they loved him. Everyone loved him there. I mean, I never left Noah, or excuse me, I never left Caleb with anyone that did nothing but absolutely love him and did not, I never heard any complaints that he won't do this or he's, whatever. Now, he was stubborn at times. Once again, not sure where he got that from. Um, but, and people will, I'll show pictures of Caleb and people will say to me, wow, he looks just like you. And that is one of the highest compliments that anyone could ever give to me because Caleb is absolutely the most beautiful, beautiful person, most beautiful little soul that I know. So just to say he looked like you makes me feel honored that you would say that he looks like me. Um, but he was very precious. He done a lot of actions that I'll never forget. Those that knew him again, they're never going to forget the things that he did. They're they're never going to forget how he loved to eat Pop Tarts and cereal bars and oatmeal cream pies and um, the big Cheeto puffs and uh, just like certain foods or whatever. Um, and he has left a legacy that I'm not sure um, I would even be able to. And, I'm 45 years old. He was almost 4 years old. And has already left a legacy that is just beyond me. And I know that's God. I know that's God. I know that God used him for his purpose while he was here. Um, you know, uh, Losing him, absolutely the hardest thing that I will ever go through in my life. Um, but also being chosen to be his mama, the highest honor that I could ever have. And I'm thankful for all the hearts that he touched. I'm thankful for all the people that did know him while he was here. And I believe that, when we get to heaven and we meet, and you all are going to recognize him. I guarantee it, you will. And you're going to meet my son too, even though you may not have while you are here on earth, because he's going to be there. And, and I believe that Jesus holds him close to him. And perhaps sometimes, I kind of think sometimes that maybe Jesus is holding Caleb and they're down here looking on mommy, and Caleb may be going, what is she doing? um, and Jesus is just gonna Jesus is being like, it's okay, it's okay. um, but my life with Caleb changed me. Just as my life without him has changed me. But he's just um, he's just my heart. He's my he's my love. Um, I'm actually sitting in his room right now, doing these videos now, and I look around and I see these things, and I'm thankful that I'm at a place where I can look at something and I can smile because I can remember those memories of what he did with that and how he played with that. And I still have crayon markings on the wall where he drew on the wall. And I can smile about that. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been many times that I've came in here and just had a complete meltdown because I miss him so much. But the Lord knows when the day will come, because I know that my work has to be done before I can go to heaven and and see Jesus, and Jesus, I believe that Jesus is he's gonna come and get me, and he's gonna say, here he is, here he is, he's been here the whole time, he's been here the whole time waiting on you. But sometimes, I guess because of the shock that I have endured through the whole process, I do have I have memory lapses sometimes, and there are things that I wish I could remember that sometimes it's very hard for me to remember. But I also remember how much that Caleb would like to kind of sing along in the car. And I'm the type of person that if I have a CD in the car, I'm going to listen to that CD like a million times. I'm just going to play it over and over and over. So I had like a compilation CD that I was listening to in my car. And God is good and he's all knowing. But I wanted to tell you about the 3 songs. There are 3 songs in particular that Caleb picked up on, that I would listen to on this CD. And it was The Reason by Hoobastank. And even before Caleb died, I had said, that's my song to you. You're my reason. And he picked up on that song in the car. Lips of an Angel, and I Can Only Imagine. And I know that God's in control and He sees the whole picture. But for Caleb to pick up on those particular songs is it holds very special meaning to me. And when I hear I Can Only Imagine, especially, I'm saying to myself, you don't have to imagine anymore, Caleb. You're already there. You're already there waiting for mommy. And we're going to be together. And I'm thankful for the very precious memories that you've left here with me that get me by. And they get me by on those hard days too. And sometimes they make mommy shed a tear. But they also make mommy so happy that I can remember them and smile and think about you watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and singing that tune and Handy Manny and Little Einsteins. And every time I hear those songs, I'm thinking about you. Not that I don't always think about you all the time anyway, but I can literally still hear his voice. I can hear him singing those songs. And um, I actually have like a little uh, curio cabinet that I have some of his favorite toys in. And just to look at and just to bring back some memories. And I have a lot of his DVDs that he would watch, you know. And and I'm just thankful for the memories I have, the things I still have, the pictures that I have that I can look back at him and, you know, remember those things. But, you know, again, I am, being as that he wasn't really here. I mean, to us, you know, to us as humans, he wasn't here very long, but he was long enough on the earth to completely make impacts that blow my mind. Blow my mind. And I continue to say this, it completely blows my mind even further that God chose me. God chose me to be his mom, to give birth to him, to carry him for 9 months, to have a bond with him like no one else has. I've been blessed beyond what I deserve, even with that heartache that came when he died. I've been blessed. Not everybody gets that. And I'm just so thankful. And I just want you all to know once again how much I absolutely and sincerely appreciate all of your support, all of your prayers, every word of encouragement that you give me, every hug that you give me. um, to continue to try to do something that not only gives glory to God and honors Caleb, but also to help other people in grieving in whatever ways that they're grieving. Because we have different relationships in our lives. I've never went through the loss of a spouse or a parent or a sibling or, anything like that. And I'm very thankful for that. I am so thankful that God has still given me that kind of time on earth with my family and friends. But grief is grief and loss is loss. And it depends on your relationship. And I just want people to know that even though I may not be experiencing the same kind of grief that you are because it was a different relationship, I am here and you can contact me however, by whatever means that you need to contact me. You can leave comments or whatever it is that you need to do. And I will do my best to contact you and get in touch with you and do my best to support you if you want to talk, if you want to cry, if you just want to sit there and pray, or I can sit there and just hold your hand or hug you or whatever. Because I get it. I get grief and I get loss. And maybe this is why that you're watching this, because maybe you need some comfort. There may be a time that I have to reach out to someone else because I need some comfort. But my goal is to help people to try to be of comfort to someone and let them know that you might feel alone. You may feel completely alone and you're thinking, nobody gets this, they don't understand, they have no clue what I'm going through. There are people out there that do, and I am one of them. And I am more than willing to help anyone in any way that I can to help carry your burden, help lighten your load, um, whatever it is that needs to be done. Because the Lord has a purpose for us to still be here. Even though, we're the grievers and we're the ones that doing the remembering, and we're the ones that's trying to keep that memory alive because we don't want people to forget them or whatever it is that it may be. But I just want to thank you all. I appreciate you all. I do hope that you will check out my next video. It may or may not be about when Caleb died, because obviously that's a hard subject, as it would be for anyone that has lost anyone. But it is part of my journey. So it is something that I do talk about to other people if they ask. And this journey's long, and sometimes it can be extremely hard and it can be extremely painful. But from my experience, and I can only tell you from my experience, when we think all hope is lost, there is hope. And that is why this is called Journey of Grief and Hope. And even it may seem like those words can't go together, I can assure you they can. Thank you all. I love you all, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.